Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your week's off to a good start. I feel like I'm back on the mountain in Costa Rica. I woke up to a gray, foggy day that reminded me of a lot of those days of being in the clouds down there, days on end, where you could just kind of get lost and look out over the scenery. Well, I don't have that scenery anymore, but it's still great to be alive, and it's Monday. I always love a Monday. Today I want to talk about what motivates me on a raw food diet. It's really important. You got to know your why. Anyhow, I do videos every day. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Check send notifications on all your YouTube channels or you might become unsubscribed. I get this question all the time, and sometimes I'm like, this is frustrating for me sometimes doing a channel, being on social media a lot, because the way I think, the way I do things is so much different than other people. So it's very hard. Like when somebody asks me sometimes, I almost feel Spock-like. Spock, like I didn't understand emotion and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand some of these things, and it's probably just simply because of my development. I'm a strange character. I've told you guys before I'm a loner, so I haven't spent a lot of time around humans, so I'm inside my head all the time, and I kind of do things in a different way. And I don't know what motivates me is never gonna, I don't think what motivates somebody else is ever gonna motivate me, and vice versa. I haven't honestly needed a ton of motivation on this lifestyle. And I think the reason that is it just made sense. It just made sense. There was a click from the very beginning, from the first weekend that I saw videos about the raw vegan lifestyle, a plant-based lifestyle. Like the raw figure, it took a while to figure out a little bit, but it still made sense. The plant-based was just like a lightning bolt. Boom. I didn't need to hear anything else after that first weekend and starting to see just a little bit. And then you read China Study, probably watch some clips on China Study before I actually read it. But once I was not able to unknow. That was the biggest thing for me, is right from the beginning it made sense. And once I had seen something, people always joke about, why did you show me that? It can't be unseen once it's seen. Well, once I knew a lot of this knowledge, it could not be unknown. So I haven't dealt with a whole lot of little tips or tricks. I haven't really tried to motivate myself because I've been motivated from day one. My motivation going into this health journey in the first place, which began way back before the raw and led me to the raw, was that I abused my body for 30 years. I drank heavy for 30 years. I ate bad food. I knew the bar tab was coming due pretty soon, and I just wanted to start. I said that enough's enough, and I wanted to stop the damage. Number one, I wanted to stop going backwards, and I wanted to just see how far I could go forward. So, and I came to this lifestyle at an older age. I was 47 years old when I started eating like this, when I started living like this, when my mind changed and I started thinking in a different way. So in a lot of ways, maybe I feel like I have time to catch up. Tick tock, realistically, I don't have all the time in the world left. And to me, there's kind of that window. There's that window. And I want to stay feeling good like this for the rest of my life. From the very beginning, one thing that motivated me, like I say, that goes back to the once you know, you can't unknow, is after I saw about a plant-based lifestyle. I've told, like I say, nobody's perfect. Was I a perfect raw vegan or even a high raw vegan in the beginning? No, I did a lot of things that I look back on. I was still eating oil. I was still eating salt. I was not eating enough. I was doing a number of things, but the plant-based part of it totally made sense. And from day one, I knew I wasn't turning back from being plant-based. I've left it in my head even up until now. Who knows what will ever happen with the raw part of it? How raw will I stay? Will I ever be a fully raw? What is it? But I knew about the plant-based, and every time, so I never, did I deal with cravings? I don't know, maybe I'm getting into semantics, but I know I didn't deal with cravings because, okay, for instance, I was living in the city. I was living in San Jose, Costa Rica at the time. a big part. You know, it used to be easy. I'd go, they had all these places down here there where you could get a big slice of pizza, basically big enough for a meal. And in my day-to-days, you know, I liked doing that. I did that 4 or 5 days of the week prior to this lifestyle, prior to starting to get healthy again. Well, I didn't all of a sudden hate pizza. I didn't all of a sudden hate cheese. I wasn't like these people that has to play with their own heads and be like, oh man, that cheese is gross, this is gross. No, it wasn't gross. It still looked good. It still looked like that same piece of pizza I ate before. And in one way, there was kind of a nostalgic, like I missed it. Like, I kind of missed that a little bit. But no, there was no temptation to eat it, because every time I did, and here was my motivation, now I knew what my food did to me. So every time I even saw a piece of pizza, or I saw a chicken wing or something over there, I didn't even get to that point of being like craving it, because I knew what it did. And I would visualize eating a bite of that food, or eating a portion, or eating like a pizza, or eating an order of chicken wings. And I would envision that thing traveling through my body. And I knew what it did now. And I knew the effects that it left behind. And I knew where it was going to lead me. So no, from day one, boom, that was it. I knew that I knew, and I couldn't do it anymore. You know, motivation is a funny thing. I think if you take 150 people, you're going to have 150 different motivating factors behind why they do what they do. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I say, and another big motivating factor for me is just how I feel every day, every single day. I don't want to feel like, okay, yeah, maybe I can, and I talk about that, you know, I'm not an extreme raw foodist. I'm not like all the time going, oh my God, is it above, you know, the holy temperature of 118? I'm not questioning every ingredient. Is this technically raw? Is this technically raw? I cook some food from time to time, but I have my limits. I have my boundaries about how I know what various foods going to do to my body. And I just don't go any further than that, because I want to feel the best that I can every day. I've mentioned this a number of times before, and a lot of people probably that watch my channel that even dabble around in you know, in the raw food or the plant-based community aren't going to understand this, because they've never even gotten it. You don't really know how good feeling good feels until you get there. A lot of people think there's people out there watching me right now that probably think you feel good. You don't even know what feeling good is yet. I mean, I remember back 6 years ago what I considered feeling good back then. Now, if I could get in that Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine and go back there and talk to 6 years ago, Jack, our definition or our concept of feeling good would be a very different thing. So, you know, you've got to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out your motivation, you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And what do I want out of it? Do I just want to feel okay? You know, maybe that's enough for you. Maybe you feel really shitty. Maybe you have health issues. Maybe you have something that causes you pain. Maybe you have gut disorders. Maybe you're just satisfied from going from feeling really bad to just feeling okay and not feeling so bad anymore. That just wasn't enough for me. That wasn't enough for me. I like to feel like I say, it's like hitting that vein. They say, you know, once you get that drug, you know, certain drugs like heroin, cocaine, whatever, once you get that high, you're always chasing it. Well, the food is not a high you have to chase. You can maintain that high. And once I got that feeling, and once I get that high raw feeling, and you know, like I say, I don't care to split hairs, but then when I take it, you know, the people are like, oh God, well, he's not all raw. But then I take a step back and I'm like, well, for all practical purposes, I am. Because if you went across the course of the last year, yeah, I ate some cooked food, but it's been mostly raw. So I want to feel my absolute best all the time. One little last thing, and I'll finish up here. I was telling somebody last night as I was chatting on Messenger that even though I'm not getting my mangoes, even though I'm not thriving here, even though this is not where I need to be, this is a great learning experience, because it's even motivating me more. And it showed me that yes, my health, my lifestyle, how I feel is one of the most important factors in my life. and that will determine me getting back to where I can eat the best of the best and get the best of everything. Like I say, it's not just the food, you know, I'm not outside as much, I'm not getting the air, the oxygen, I'm not breathing this really clean, good air all the time. So yeah, what this period has done for me has motivated me even more to get back to where I want to be, where I can get all the tools, where I have all the things, where I don't have to be, oh my God, can I hustle here? Can I call this dude and see if he can order me mangoes or whatever? I just go downtown and get mangoes. I go downtown and get papayas. But once again, when somebody asks me about motivation, motivation is a very individual thing. You just have to dig inside. I can give you a few tools to find yours, but yours will never be mine, and you have to go inside yourself. And you, once again, you have to ask yourself that, why am I doing this? What do I want out of it? But anyhow, motivation, sometimes I like to talk about things. Somebody will ask me about a topic and I'm like, well, that's way outside of my skill set, because like I say, I'm a strange human being. I don't do things like or think so much like other people. But when it comes to motivation, I was like, well, let me see if I can throw something out there where people might understand how not to look to or get their motivation from someone else or from outside, but to get your motivation, be self-motivated, get that motivation from in. And it all starts with that why. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And I will see you again tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.